and steal, and steal.
This video with Hadi Choopan, and everybody is speculating whether he's gonna do open or 212 division since he is qualified for both of those divisions. And there was that video from Muscular Development, an online report, and they said that Hadi decided to do the open, which is apparently not true. They published the video and then later Hani Rambod made a response video to that saying that that is not gonna happen. So let me show you what Hani Rambod, Hadi Choopan's coach, has to say about this.
Okay guys, so I have to clear something up. Some people are saying that there's confirmation that Hadi's doing open. We have not confirmed if he's doing 212 or open because we don't even know yet. We're waiting for his body to balance out from the flight, see where his weight is, and make adjustments and then decide. So anybody that's reporting that he's doing either 212 or open and they're confirming it is wrong. So please make sure you let them know that we have not confirmed what class Hadi is doing. So that has no confirmation there. So I'm getting hit up left and right. He's doing open, he's doing open. We haven't confirmed anything, guys. So whoever's saying that is a lot of misinformation. So guys, we're still yet to decide. Yet to be decided. Just letting you guys all know.
So there you go, straight from the horse's mouth. Hani Rambod tells us that they don't even know what division Hadi is gonna do. So he's qualified for both, but 212 division is only up to 212 pounds, obviously. This year at the Vancouver Pro, when Hadi was at his best and when he brought that amazing package, he was between 220 or 225, I'm not even sure at this point, but it definitely wasn't below 212. So he would have to cut at least 8 pounds of muscle, nothing else. I mean, look at him, look at his body fat percent here. He's very, very lean. He was conditioned, he was more conditioned than anybody on this stage. It's like perfect conditioning. He couldn't get any leaner and fuller. It was just perfectly peaked, the way only Hani Rambod can do. So, Hadi was perfect at this Vancouver Pro, and in order to compete in 212, he would have to cut down on his weight, which I would not like to see. On the other hand, I mean, he can win 212. He can destroy Derek Lunsford, in my opinion. I don't care how much Derek improved this year, he cannot be better than Hadi. But still, that's a smaller division, you know, that's not the bread and butter of the sport. If he can crack the top 6 at the Mr. Olympia in the Open, that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing, and then later he can progress even further. But in my opinion, 4th place is like the minimum for him. I don't think anybody else can beat him aside from Rolly, Brandon and William. And if William comes off because he's not with Neil Hill anymore, maybe he can beat him too. To beat Rolly and Brandon, I don't really see that happening because these guys are just much bigger than him. They just have much bigger frame. But anything is possible, really. I mean, if Hadi brings this crazy conditioning again and this crispness and he peaks like this, maybe he can crack the top 2. Maybe, but that's like a huge leap. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think 4th place is the safest prediction that I can give you guys. But hey, again, anything is possible. One thing is for sure. Hadi gave us an impressive showing at this Vancouver Pro. It was really glorious watching him dominate this stage. Seeing him at the Mr. Olympia is gonna make it so much more exciting than without him. Whether he's gonna do 212 or the Open is pretty much irrelevant. We just wanna see him up there. But I wanna see him in the Open. I think that's his division and I think he can dominate over there. And now, since the lineup is so depleted and we're not gonna see guys like this, for example, Big Ramy right here, we need anybody who can give us a good show. And Big Ramy, he's not the most complete bodybuilder of today. I mean, he has everything. He has good back, good legs, good chest, arms, everything. Symmetry is there, everything. I mean, his legs are maybe a little bit too big, but that's not a problem. I mean, come on, we want to see anything that looks freaky. And if Big Ramy somehow comes shredded, for example, like he was in 2017, I mean, that wasn't some crazy muscle maturity. Phil Heath pretty much destroyed him in 2017, but 2017 version of Phil Heath is not here anymore. Maybe next year, but this year we're not gonna see Phil Heath competing, most likely not. And if Big Ramy came like that, maybe a little bit more shredded. If he came more shredded than he was in 2017, I think he would win the Mr. Olympia. I think Brandon Curry and Rolly Winkler have too many weaknesses that would be exposed compared to Big Ramy. But even with those weaknesses considered, if Big Ram even came like he was in 2017, I still don't know if he will be able to beat guys like Brandon and Rolly. I just feel like these guys are making improvements year after year, especially Brandon. I think Brandon really improved his legs, and Rolly, sure, Rolly is also gonna come at his best, I have no doubts about that. But I mean, for example, look at Brandon here. Sure, his legs are his weakest body part, but this year I'm pretty sure he made improvements. I'm pretty sure he really got those legs a little bit fuller. The outer sweep, that will never be prominent in his quads. That's just genetic. But look at the inner part. Look at how thick, how dense his legs are. I mean, they're basically connecting at the knees area. That's just crazy. I mean, I'm sure he made improvements this year. I'm sure he got his leg size up. And with this symmetry, with his proportions, with his lines, with his conditioning, with that back, with everything, I mean, just full package, I don't think anybody can challenge him, not even Rolly Winkler, and maybe only Big Ramy if he was invited and if he came completely dry as he never was. But still it would be a battle. So I'm pretty sure nobody is taking that sand away from Brandon this year, and possibly for the next couple of years, maybe even like a decade or so, because this guy really looks good. And I really can't wait to see him on stage, improved, bigger, fuller and more shredded. I mean, watching him at the Arnold, so much improved from the Mr. Olympia, was amazing. But this time for the Mr. Olympia, he's gonna be more improved than he was at the Arnold. That's gonna be amazing show, and I really can't wait to see him dominate that stage. Or battle against Rolly. Maybe that's gonna be an epic battle, but I still think Brandon is winning it. Okay, let's move on to Classic now. So, Classic Physique Mr. Olympia runner-up, Chris Bumstead, posted this posing video of him, and goddamn, he looks impressive. He looks like a Mr. Olympia, Classic Physique, for sure. And whether he wins the Mr. Olympia or not, it's gonna be impressive show, that's for sure. It's gonna be an amazing show. I love Classic Physique simply because it's so exciting. I mean, anybody can win. I think the top 6 really believes that they can win the show. In Open, that's not really the case. In the Open, everybody pretty much knows who's gonna make the top 6, top 2, top 3 and so on. It's not really that exciting. I mean, you can make some speculations, but it's pretty obvious. In Classic, 6th guy can win the show, easily. I mean, the judging criteria is not well established. It's only been 3 years, since 2016, so new guys are coming up every day, and every year they're making improvements. And pretty much anybody can win this 2019 Classic Physique Mr. Olympia, but I think that's gonna be Chris Bumstead. His biggest weakness, his back, yeah, and Brion is going to expose that back with his amazing and very complete back. But what Brion doesn't have is this impressiveness, this freakiness that Chris brings. So it's definitely gonna be amazing to watch these two guys battle. Somebody who is very complete against somebody who is super classic and super impressive. So it's gonna be exciting to watch that, and whatever you guys think, tell me down below who do you think is gonna win it. And in my opinion, it's gonna be Chris, because I mean, look at this. This is amazing. This is fantastic. I really love this physique. Granted, nobody is perfect, but that's what makes your physique unique. Those little imperfections. And as complete as you can get is as good as you're gonna place at these shows, and Brion is doing just that. I mean, he's not known for having a single super impressive body part. I mean, you can say his biceps are very good, but still not as impressive as Chris's V-taper or as Chris's chest, for example. But what does Brion lack? Nothing in particular. You can make an argument that he lacks a couple of things. A couple of things are not perfect, but still, you cannot say that he is lacking something. Everything is there. So that's gonna make him hard to beat, very hard to beat. It's gonna be really hard to take his title away, considering the fact that he is so complete and so lean. He's really getting conditioned. He really knows how to show those details and how to expose other competitors and how to present himself perfectly. But who the hell knows, maybe this guy beats them all. Maybe Keon Pearson actually wins the Mr. Olympia. It's possible, because this guy, I mean, sure, he's not as complete as Brion. He's not probably not as impressive as Chris. He's not super tall, he's not super wide, super big, but he does have two things. One is a very impressive body part, that would be arms, and the other one is an amazing V-taper. These arms are one of the most impressive arms in the history of the world. I would say so. He really does have amazing set of arms. And no, that's not enough to win him the Mr. Olympia. I think his chest is a little bit too shallow. It's gonna take him a couple of years to improve on that. No, his chest is never gonna be his strong body part, but it can be improved and a little bit less noticeable as a weakness. And this vacuum is really good. Especially with this small, tiny, tight waist. Some guys have a great vacuum, but their waist is a little bit too wide. Not at Kian. Kian's waist is super small, and he also has broad rib cage, which makes great vacuum. And if you put those arms into the equation, you really get something extraordinary. So he's gonna give us a great show. Whether he's gonna win or place in top 3, top 6, it doesn't really matter. What matters is we're gonna see an amazing physique on that stage. And that's something what we were asking for many years. Seeing something like this again. Not just freaks, not just monsters, but guys with more aesthetically pleasing physiques. And Korean really represents classic all the way. He just needs to get a little bit more complete and a little bit more shredded, and he can place in that top 3 or even win the show. Here is another physique update of another classic physique guy, and these classic physique guys, they're posting photos every single day pretty much, all of them. They're really active on Instagram, they're really posting a lot of physique updates, and I love that. I really love that. They're more active than the open guys. I don't know, maybe they're just able to maintain lower body fat percent throughout the year because they don't really need to grow that much. They are at their weight cap and they just need to, maybe make a couple of improvements. For example, Arash Akbar, he really did make improvements this year. I think this year he made better improvements than any year before. He really improved that quad sweep. He really added mass to that outer sweep on his quad, and also his back looks thicker. I cannot really see it on this pose, but trust me, it is. So we're gonna see improved version of Arash. Whether that's gonna be enough to win him Mr. Olympia, to crack the top 3 or top 2, I don't know. Probably not. But again, I mean, these guys being so competitive and so close means that we're gonna watch a great show, and I'm really looking forward. I'm really looking forward to Classic Physique because it's gonna be exciting. Anybody can win it. Anybody can place it in top 3 or top 6. We have no idea who's gonna make the top 6. Most likely it's gonna be the guys that we know about, but hey, we don't know that. Let's wait a couple of more days, 10 days or so, and see what happens actually. George Peterson, the Arnold Classic winner, is also coming strong. He is gonna be one of the most conditioned guys up there. Definitely the guy with the best back, but not the best structure. And I think that structure can be a little bit ignored and grant him a place in that top 3 again this year. I don't think he can get higher than that, but I'm really looking forward to seeing him as well. I mean, he's not the most classic guy up there, but he is definitely the most developed and one of the most conditioned guys. So again, another physique to look forward to. That would be all about classic physique, and now let's go back to the open. So for example, this guy, Akim Williams, he didn't win a single show this year, but he always cracked the top 2, top 3 at big shows, and he's definitely much better than some guys who actually won the shows. He's gonna bring the mass. He's gonna bring the mass. He's one of the biggest guys up there, and with this size, I mean, look at his arms, look at his shoulders and chest and everything. He's so thick. He's one of the biggest, the strongest also bodybuilders of today. He has an amazingly small waist. His waist is super tiny. I mean, look at it, compare literally, I mean, compare the size of his arms to his waist. Which is bigger? Which is bigger? It looks pretty much the same. It's crazy. But on the stage, I don't really like his physique. I mean, from these poses, for example, front double bicep here in the gym, you can really see a great V-taper and really tiny small waist. But on the stage, his physique kind of seemed a little bit too blocky for my taste. So I'm not really a huge fan of his. And he's never conditioned. He's never super conditioned. He was very conditioned at the Indie Pro, but that was only like a one-time thing. If he came peeled, he can crack the top 6. Yes, I believe so. But anyways, this guy is a freak. This guy is a freak, and he's gonna give us a freak show, no doubt about that. And Juan Morel, Diesel, right here, beat him at the New York Pro, winning the show, leaving Akim as a runner-up. And for that reason, again, I think Juan is going to be probably 6th spot, 5th or 6th spot. Sure, his legs are not good, but this upper body cannot be ignored. Look at the size of his shoulders and his chest and his arms. Everything is so full. Everything is so full. And this guy has an incredibly fast metabolism, so getting conditioned, getting lean, it's not a problem for him at all. He can always be full and lean. So with this size, with this fullness, and with his symmetry and shape and everything, small waist, also very small waist for being so big, I think top 6 is, I think that's fine for him. I think he can crack the top 6. Yeah, I think so. What do you guys think? And the last open class bodybuilder that we're gonna talk about today, William Bonek right here, with his physique update. But mind you, this is not 10 days out or 2 weeks out or whatever, this is 4 weeks out. This is how he looked 4 weeks out of Mr. Olympia. So now, at this point, I'm sure he'd not get much more shredded than this, because this is pretty much stage ready conditioning. And I think he's gonna beat 3rd spot this year. I really don't think his structure will let him beat guys like Rolly and Brandon, because these guys know this is a unique opportunity for them to actually win the Mr. Olympia. So they are not gonna play around. They are gonna come sharp as nails. You know, those small, sharp nails. And this structure is just not good enough to win him Mr. Olympia. But if those guys just come a little bit off, he can beat them. He can beat them if they come off. But will they come off? I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening. I just think everybody will bring their A game at this Mr. Olympia, because everybody knows the door is wide open. And we are finishing this video off with a photo of Larry Wheels. I don't know about you guys, but I think Larry lost a lot of his gains. He's probably off the cycle. I mean, you guys know that sometimes you just gotta take some time off. You cannot be pushing it hard all year round. He injured his bicep. As you can see, his left bicep right there looks swollen. I don't know why. After the injury, it looks bigger. I heard that some site enhancement oils are used for a speedy recovery. So maybe he's injecting some site enhancement oil in his biceps to make them recover faster, but they look a little bit swollen. I mean, it looks a little bit swollen, only the left one. The right arm looks definitely much smaller. It atrophied. I don't think it's the lack of training. I'm pretty sure he trains. Maybe not as much as before because of the injury, but I'm pretty sure he's off the gear. I'm pretty sure. I mean, his arm, especially the right one, looks much smaller, and also his head, that's enough. His head compared to his entire body, it looks just much bigger than before. He was just much bigger overall until recently. I don't know what is the reason for this, but he definitely lost a lot of his gains. He looks much smaller now. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be the last thing that we're gonna talk about today. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like it. And if you want to see more bodybuilding content, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, guys. Once again, all the best. Bye-bye.